Good evening. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Great.
You guys good to get going?
Yeah.
Yep. I'd like to welcome everybody to the November 20th West Des Moines City Council meeting. If you could please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, please sign in.
Five members present.
Ryan, are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Your Honor.
Okay, can we do a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 2 is Citizens Forum, which is the time for anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on any item that is not under the public hearings or the new business. So if anybody has any comments for Citizens Forum, please come up to the podium. Please give your name and address for the record, and we ask you to limit your comments to about 5 minutes. Vicki?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Dr. Vicki Longhill, 136 10th Street, West Des Moines Valley Junction. And I just stand before you all today to say congratulations on the awards that have been bestowed upon the city for DEI inclusion. And at the inclusion ceremony, and I believe another DEI award was. That is phenomenal. Long time coming, but it says so much about how far the city and the city council has come. Thank you, from mayor, city council person, city manager, for allowing Ms. Audrey Kenneth to walk in her space and do the things that she has done. I know from personal experience, I sat on the DEI luncheon meetings she has and other committees, and have been involved with her with the work that she has done for the city. And I could tell you, it was her involvement that made a difference in a lot of times. And it's her skills, it's her knowledge, it's her interpersonal relationship she has with people, the ability to talk and understand and explain. It made a difference in so many ways. But I want to thank the West Des Moines City Council for selecting and putting her in her place. She's done a phenomenal job, and she's a leader. I've seen positions like this throughout my career, and we should be proud because Audrey is a leader in the county, I'm going to say in the state, in the DEI community. So I want to say thank you and congratulations, and particularly to Audrey as well.
Wow.
Thank you.
Very nice, Vicki. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. Yeah, we've the city's come a long way since I think we first participated in the MEI, the Municipal Quality Index, and just this last week was announced that we were a perfect 100 score. So this city ought to be very proud about where it's come from and where we're going, and it's the sort of work that never ends. But thank you so much for coming up and making those comments. Okay, anybody else for Citizens Forum? Yes, sir. If you just come up, give your name and address for the record.
David Abbott, 305 41st Street. I'm here today before you guys to argue for a ban on speeding cameras on our streets. I believe that speeding cameras on our streets would be a detriment overall just to the overall morale and society of West Des Moines. There's I don't know if you guys are familiar, but there's a town called Prairie City, and they actually have a speeding camera pointing on a state highway, and it's legal for them to do that. And I actually have gotten caught going 75 into 65 and received a $100 fine.
Okay.
And I personally believe that's a little egregious. I don't know the opinions of the council, but I'm just asking for a guarantee or a promise that the city of West Des Moines won't have crazy speeding cameras like that. Obviously 45 and 35 is pretty bad, but 75 and 65 is okay. But I'm just wondering what you guys think about the speeding cameras.
Well, we don't have any speeding cameras in the city. You know, we've got the mobile radar units that are out there, basically just warns you, here's what the speed limit is supposed to be and here's what you're doing, but they don't write tickets. We do have cameras on the traffic signals,
Yeah.
but those are not for red light cameras or speeding cameras. They are twofold. One, it operates the traffic signals, and two, police dispatch uses them, and police use them for whether somebody's been involved in a traffic collision. They've got information there that they can draw for their reports, and they've also used them if there's a chase or if they're looking for someone, they can use that. But there are no speeding cameras in the city, and I don't know that there's any talk of having them in the city. So,
What was your name again, young man?
David Abbott.
David, first of all, congratulations for coming up here. Well done. Expressing your views in front of the council. Not enough people do that and participate in their local municipal government, especially people your age. I don't know how old you are, but you're younger than I am, I assume, by a couple of years. I appreciate you coming up and expressing your opinion. And Kevin answered what, I think I would answer to, but I just want to say good job coming up here.
yes. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you, David.
Thank you,
Thanks for
David.
coming up.
I wanna-
Okay, any other folks for citizens forum? These are items that are not on the public hearing or the new business. Anybody online, *6 to unmute. Okay, seeing nobody moving or anybody online hearing anything, we'll go ahead and close the citizens forum. Item 3 is Mayor, City Council, City Manager reports. Councilman Lodes, why don't we start with you?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Nothing to report
Okay.
at this time.
Thank you. Renee?
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. I would like to share just a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to thank the young man for coming up and speaking as well. So you're on the record, and you can tell your school that you actually participated in a city council meeting. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And do watch the speeding limits because they're there for a reason. And you can only get so many, and it's going to affect what you pay for insurance later in life. So I do want to caution you there. I want to say, I want to echo what Vicki Longhill, Dr. Vicki Longhill came up to share. It was a proud moment for the city of West Des Moines to be recognized by the Downtown Partnership as one of the employers of the year for the work that we are trying to do in diversity, equity, and inclusion. While everybody's on a different journey of what that means and what it means for them, we're on a journey. And it's a journey with no ending. And I want to say that I want to thank the leadership. I want to thank Audrey. I want to thank Tom for his support. And to have, I think we're one of the first municipalities to be able to get the DEI award. So that shows a lot of progress is being made, a lot of steps are being made. So I was very, very proud. And so I remember the interviews that we had. It was Councilman Hudson and I representing City Council when we interviewed a number of candidates for that position, and we knew that Audrey was the candidate that would drive this and help us. So Audrey, I don't know where you're at. I don't know if you're on the Zoom or whatever, but just my hat goes off to you with ultimate respect and admiration for the work that you do. Keep driving it. You're going to have some stumbles along the way. You're going to have challenges along the way. You're going to have naysayers along the way, but I want you to keep on stepping because that's how we get better. So thank you very much for all that you've done. And the second thing is I also represent as a liaison to the Valley Junction Foundation. I see Steve is here. So I want to promote something that's happening on Small Business Saturday, which is on November the 25th. It's something new, and they're going to be running of the reindeer, okay, where participants hopefully will dress up in their best holiday costume for a 3-block fun run. And Steve says you can walk, crawl, or whatever, but come and wear your festive outfit and support the small businesses in our Valley Junction area. Some of us were out last Thursday for Jingle in the Junction, and we were there to see the beautiful tree that was on display right in front of the fire station. So I want to thank the city, I want to thank the fire department, I want to thank Valley Junction Foundation. That is just phenomenal. I cannot tell you how much was on social media about the tree lighting, the evening, the weather, just bringing people down to the junction to support small businesses. It was a wonderful night, and the tree could not be more exquisite. So thanks for your persistence, Steve. Thanks, Chief Lou, and all of your willingness to have it on display there, because it was a team sport to make all sure that everything was a go. But I got a call from someone today that was there last night and just said, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful in the junction, and that tree so proudly displayed there. So it was a nice event to have so many family members out. But come out and support the junction. They're doing great things. We're really trying to support small businesses, local business owners and whatnot, and get us all in the holiday spirit. So good things going on, and I wanted to just share some of the kinds of things that I have personally enjoyed and participated in.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Hudson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Want to echo Councilwoman Hardman's comments about, David, as you came up here and shared your thoughts. I think it's great. All right. Also, you had moral support from your friend there. It's great to have moral support, especially when you come up here and you share your thoughts technically in front of not just the city, but also the nation and the world, because it's being broadcast live on YouTube right now. So grateful for that, because as we talked about in AP US History last year, if you believe in something, what do? You stand up and share that. You don't keep it to yourself. So I'm grateful that you came here tonight for that. So I appreciate that. Number two, we had an election about a week and a half ago, a little bit more, almost 2 weeks ago, and I just wanted to say thank you to 9,000 voters who came out in the city of West Des Moines to make their voices heard in both school board and city elections, and other random things like a bond referendum for the airport in Polk County, or whether it be Waukee Schools in Dallas County. It's wonderful to see folks come out on a November night and vote and make their voices heard. So much thanks to those voters. And if you didn't get to vote this last time, hey, there's always more elections to come. So I encourage you to get out and vote anytime you possibly can. And finally, I do want to thank the voters of Ward 2 of West Des Moines. I am certainly privileged and honored to serve for another 4 years on this esteemed body. I'm beyond grateful, and I'm incredibly humbled that anyone would place their confidence in me to serve up here in this important role. So much thank you to the folks in Ward 2, and that will end my report, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilman, and congratulations.
No report, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Well, why don't we, let's see here. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, one more thing. We also need to congratulate you, Councilman McKinney, as well, for being reelected to a member at large. As a fellow member at large, I congratulate you for that accomplishment. So both of you worked hard and certainly did what you need to do to reach out to the residents to see what their desires are and what their needs are. And so congratulations to both of you for another 4 years on the council.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to serve, and I look forward to keeping the momentum going. So, all right. Well, why don't we move forward? Item 4 is a consent agenda. Does any council member need any items they want to pull today?
4M.
I'm sorry, 4M?
M is in Mary.
Okay. Item 4M. Any other items? I'm going to be pulling item 4C4.
4C4?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no other items here, we need a motion to approve the remainder.
So move.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, why don't we go to item 4C4? This is, let's see, approval of liquor licenses. Item 4 is for Come and Go, doing business as Come and Go store number 3035. I continue to represent Come and Go, so I'm going to be abstaining from this item.
Motion
To
approved.
approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, please vote.
4 yes, 1 abstention due to potential conflict of interest.
Okay, let's move on to item 4M as in Mary. This is award contract for 329 6th Street demolition. This has come, not this particular item, but this subject has come before the council a couple times. Councilman Trevelyan.
I pulled this because I am not going to be supporting this motion, so if somebody wants to make it, so be it.
Okay.
I will make the motion to approve this.
We have a motion and a second. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, please vote.
Three yes, 2 no.
Okay, that takes care of the consent agenda. Why don't we move on to item 5, which is old business. Let's see here. Item 5A is ordinance amendment amending Title IX zoning to modify land use permitted in the community commercial CMC zoning district. This is city initiated. This is an ordinance. I'm sorry,
The last vote was 2 and 2? Or was it
it's 3 and 2.
3 and 2?
3
Okay,
yes,
3.
2 no.
Oh, okay, okay.
It passed.
Okay, just wanted to, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, so item 5A, this is the ordinance, as I mentioned, ordinance amending Title IX zoning to modify land uses permitted in the community commercial zoning district. This is a reading for approval of the second reading, waiver of the third, and adopt the ordinance amendment.
Motion to consider the second reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, please vote.
Five yes, an ordinance to amend the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, Title IX zoning pertaining to land uses allowed within the community commercial zoning district.
Motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Motion to waive the third reading and adopt in final form.
Second.
Please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, we'll move on to item 5B. This is a motion for approval of a traffic code amendment, special stops required at South 33rd Street and Glenwood Drive. This is an item for the second reading, a waiver of the third reading and adoption in final form. There has been no change since the first reading.
Motion to consider the second reading.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion on item 5B? Okay, please vote.
Five yes, an ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending provisions pertaining to the traffic code relating to official traffic controls.
Motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Please vote.
Five yes.
Motion to waive the third reading and adopt in final form.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, this is item 5, item 5C. Item 5C is a amendment to City Code Open Spaces. We've got a memo on here to continue this to the December 4th City Council agenda.
Motion to continue.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, now we're on to public hearings. So we'll start with item 6A. Item 6A is an ordinance amendment amending Title IX zoning and Title X subdivision regulations to modify and establish requirements and regulations for pedestrian pathways along private streets and vehicle drive aisles. This is city initiated, and City Council tabled this action at the October 16th meeting. This is an ordinance for approval of the first reading. I would note, first, Ryan, could you please read the date the notice was published?
September 29th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
Okay, and have we received any written comments to the hearing?
The Planning and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 4 yes, 2 no, and 1 absent, adopted a resolution recommending approval of the ordinance amendment.
Okay, so now is time for anyone in the audience that's here or online for item 6A. First, if you're here, please come up to the podium, give your name and address for the record. And if you happen to be online for item 6A, star 6 will mute and unmute. Okay, seeing no activity and hearing nothing online, we'll call the public hearing to a close. Again, we have an ordinance for approval of the first reading.
Motion to consider the first reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, please vote.
Five yes, an ordinance to amend the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, Title IX zoning and Title 10 subdivision regulations pertaining to establishing requirements and regulations for pedestrian pathways along private streets and vehicle drive aisles.
Motion to approve the first reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, moving on to item 6B. Item 6B is an ordinance amendment amending Title IX zoning to modify regulations pertaining to the maximum size of individual letters, graphics, or logos in any wall signs. This is, like the last city initiated, this was also deferred from the October 9th, 2023 meeting. This too is an ordinance for approval of the first reading.
Motion to consider the first reading?
Well,
We need to-
yeah, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Ryan, could you please read the date that the notice was published?
September 27th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
Okay, and have we received any written comments to this item?
The Planning and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 6 yes with 1 absent, adopted a resolution recommending approval of the ordinance amendment.
Okay, now this is a time for the audience, those here and online, for item 6B for public comment. If you have any public comments to share on item 6B, please come to the podium and give your name and address for the record. And if anybody's online, *6 will unmute, and you can give your name and address for the record. Seeing nobody and hearing nobody, we'll call the public hearing closed. Again, ordinance for the first reading.
Motion to consider the first reading?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, please vote.
Five yes, an ordinance to amend the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, Title IX zoning, Chapter 18 signs pertaining to maximum size of letters, graphics, and logos.
Motion to approve the first reading?
Second. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Five yes.
Terrific. Moving on to item 6C. Item 6C is Ruthenium southwest corner of Veterans Parkway and Southwest 60th Street. This is amend the zoning map to establish light industrial zoning, City of West Des Moines. This is an ordinance for approval of the first reading. Ryan, could you please read the date the notice was published?
November 3rd, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comments to the hearing?
The Planning and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 4 yes, 2 no, with 1 absent, adopt a resolution recommending approval of the rezoning request. And there was also 1 citizen correspondence received, which was included with the council communication.
Okay, thank you. So this is the time and place for a public hearing. For those in the audience that would like to speak on item 6C, please come to the podium if you could give your name and address for the record. And if there are folks online, we'll ask you to hold until the folks in the room here have had an opportunity to speak.
Hello, I'm Paul Inglis and from Seattle, Washington. I'm here representing Microsoft for this work item. Project Ruthenium is indeed a data center project, and Microsoft is the proposed developer for that project. This data center would be an addition to the existing and under development campuses that we have in West Des Moines. And so with the action for annexation as well as zoning, we anticipate closing on this property within the next couple of weeks. Once that work is completed, then we will commence with the planning work with the city staff and planning board, through which we'll submit the site plan and begin evaluation of what actually will be built on that particular project. Timing, of course, is dependent upon the planning the planning process, and of course there will be opportunity for public input during that process. We are aware of some city requirements for this particular parcel for screening, as well as light considerations for surrounding neighbors. We've been in consultation with the city staff on that and are working to incorporate that into our plans, and I think you'll see that as the planning discussion begins. So that's the few remarks that I have, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the council here? Okay, Mr. Inglis, thank you for being here. Thank you also for addressing something that has been raised with the council in a prior council meeting where we had heard concerns through Council for some property owners about screening and other related items. So thank you for being here. Are there other folks that would like to address the council here on item 6C?
Carol Reichart, 1776 Northwest 130th Clive, and also one of the owners of Sargent Farms, which is 3320 110th Street, which is just south of the proposed site of Rothium project. I appreciate the opportunity to come here tonight and speak to the City Council regarding this project. I'm here speaking on behalf of my two sisters and I. One of them is here, as the owners, and also on behalf of our children, our husbands, our grandchildren, and our mother, who was going to come, and I told her the weather was bad, don't drive. For the past 20 years, our family has been very intentional in their approach to our beautiful property. It's 150 acres right across the street from the proposed site. We have enlarged the pond. We've planted 80 acres worth of pollinator and native grasses. We've created a multi-family garden. We've created a commercial, specialty organic berry crop, planted an apple orchard, we raised bees, planted numerous trees, and a family member designed and built a very special cabin. And this place is very important to us. Our 4 generations are currently using the farm to recreate, to farm, to celebrate some of life's biggest events. We've had 3 weddings there, and we've also had large and small gatherings for friends and family. We've also allowed several not-for-profits to use the site as well for meetings, for retreats, to be able to get out of the office and be inspired in a place that is can bring a lot to mental awareness and processes. We've hosted young African refugee girls there at the farm, letting them go to the garden and pick produce, going into the berry field and picking and eating berries, climbing all over the big tractors, taking them out into the prairie and explaining native prairie and its place in Iowa's history and heritage and soil health and all those benefits. And then also had a wonderful time down by the cabin, cooking a meal over the fire, and as a thank you, they got up and performed an impromptu dance. We've also partnered with Lutheran Services of Iowa and provided opportunities for senior citizen population and other immigrant individuals. Our family intends to continue the use for now, but in the future, we see it being developed for residential use, incorporating a lot of the principles and values that we have put forth in this on this land already. We've envisioned this residential development being an amazingly highly sought-after residential area for the city, but it will be lost for us and for the potential use of the city with such a large data center just across the street. It is not very many feet away, and as you know, data centers have a site issue. They have a presence of a very strong industrial facade. The aesthetic is not warm and inviting. It's not natural. It's a very industrial and harsh look to it. So over a year ago, we noticed our property was being included in West Des Moines' master plan. And so we contacted the city and we worked with the staff. And we discovered that we were being designated or had been highlighted as industrial light use. When we met with staff, we told them of our interest in being a residential development at some point. And they were very encouraging and told us that there was assistance to help protect neighboring properties as long as it was a residential zoning use. We just learned today that the proposed user of this 132-acre site is Microsoft, and another very large data center with additional power substation needs. It's an understatement to say it's very devastating for our family, to us, and to our neighborhood. The character of the entire area should not be changed for the benefit of necessary one user. Our property alone is 150 acres, and the impact on our property, both aesthetically and financially, is going to be huge. It is, we would really like to request that there be a pause on the rezoning and other entitlements until there can be a full disclosure of the plans for the site, and therefore an open discussion about all the issues that relate to it. If you move forward to rezone this parcel, at least a PUD or some other form of special requirement or restrictions to limit the impact of the project on our property and the neighbors. We would also like to ask to be involved in the discussion throughout the site planning process. Our family would also like to extend an invitation to you collectively, or any of you individually, or staff individually, to come. We would love to host you on the property, our property, walk you around and show you the potential that it has as an amenity and a value to the city of West Des Moines in the future, which will be lost if this use is right across the street. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Carol. Are there other folks on item 6C in the audience that would like to come up and speak? Okay, if there's anybody online, *6 to unmute. Okay, why don't we'll declare the public hearing closed for item 6C, and this is an ordinance for approval of the first reading. And before we move, let's see if there's a motion first.
Motion to consider the first reading.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on item 6C?
Yeah, I'd like to ask Ryan to come up quick. Is he here?
I know obviously Ryan's involved, and I think Lynn has been as well, at least from the land use classification. So we'll, depending on the question, Councilman Lutz.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly who it's for, but and maybe the Microsoft representative will have to come up too. But what's the impact of this if we slow this down a little bit and include the landowners?
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, Ryan Moffett, Community and Economic Development Director. I think the reason why we're on the path that we're on right now from a expediency time frame is really the closing date on the property itself. So the company has obligations to take the property down, exercise their option. This is obviously a sensitive project from an economic development perspective. Unfortunately, we've had to keep it confidential until this point. And so really we're operating on the timeline that the company's given us in terms of why we are picking this date to move forward with the rezoning. I would just add that, and I've shared this with the family today during a discussion when we met earlier this afternoon, there is an opportune time, we feel, as a staff, for when more details will be released about the project and we can have an honest conversation about screening, about light spillover, things of that nature. The city council will get to vote on the site plan when it's up for approval in the future, but staff would ask that we maintain the schedule.
I think I would ask for you and Lynn to include the property owners in those discussions as much as you can. I think we do a really good job as a council of including folks when things like this come up. I'd like to continue that. I don't want to slow down the purchase of the property of this, so I think we move forward, but I want to include the property owners in those discussions.
Yeah.
And if those things can be handled, however, you guys, Lynn's the expert on that.
Yeah,
and
understandable.
You know, we have two parties here and we want to make sure everybody's heard.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
And Ryan, before you go, Councilwoman Hartman, do you have, just while Ryan's here, it's my understanding that there's going to be a development agreement should this move forward. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep, there'll be an urban renewal plan and a development agreement that will also require a council vote.
Okay. And relative to that development agreement, I can appreciate what Ms. Farquhar shared with us today about their concerns. Is there an opportunity to include within that development agreement some items related to screening?
That was our intent and what we've negotiated thus far, is that there'd be language in there that would address that there would be screening. I think what we need to do is probably take a step further and really look at during the site plan stage what the specific design of it is, because that's something that we might not have all the details fleshed out on at the time of the economic development agreement, but we've made it clear with Microsoft that there needs to be, it's code required that they screen this, and I think it's just a matter of how it goes about being done and accomplished.
Okay. All right. Very good. That's all I have for Ryan at this point. Councilwoman Hardman?
Yeah, I wanted to, I'm sorry. Mrs. Reichart, I should say, mentioned that there is going to be significant devaluation of our property if this goes. I wanted to get a sense of where did that come from, who has shared that with, tell me I wanted a little bit more on how the amount and where you're getting those numbers and those thoughts. Is it a little bit more about the statement about how your property will be so devalued? I just wanted to get a sense of where that is coming from.
I think,
That your intuition, your gut, or or just,
it's going to be devalued in two different ways, in our
Okay.
opinion. One is the value of it as far as aesthetically and how we use it and how it should be used. And it's, number two, as far as the financial side of it, we have not had a thorough evaluation.
Okay.
We didn't know that it was going to be a data center at Microsoft Data Center until this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So it's pretty quick time turnaround to make that kind of financial evaluation done. But if we wanted to have a large residential development on that land, it's hard to envision that it's not going to impact that happening if there is a 132-acre data center and substation literally 100 feet across the street. So that to me is common sense. We haven't had time to do any, financial expert evaluation on the exact financial hit that it would take.
okay. Okay.
While you're up there, could you share with me some more about the structures? Luckily, Google Maps has a really cool feature, and you're just on the border of being able to see the three-dimensional. So I'm looking at some of the buildings right now. Could you share with me, I know there's a cabin down by the lake. Could you share with me about those structures that are on the north side of your property?
Yes, so on the north side of the property, there is, I can't think of the dimensions of it, a big Morton barn. And that's where 3 of the wedding receptions were held, which is probably, do you have any idea how many feet from the street it is? It's not that far. I guess you can probably see it in the aerial view. And then the other ones are grain, there's 3 grain bins and 2 blue harvesters on the site, and then the cabin down by the pond.
And then is that a square garden over there? Is that, because I saw the pictures that were submitted with the letter that Tim
Yeah.
Hogan shared.
The one that is the square that's closest to the road, that's the garden. And there's been a lot of effort put into that. And then just to the east of that is the 3-acre field. Actually, there's 6 acres, but 3 that we've really taken care of the organic berries. And that's been an 8-year process.
All right, thank you for sharing, appreciate it.
Okay. Any other questions or comments here from the council?
I did have a question for Lynn.
Okay. Yep. Lynn?
Hi, Lynn. I think, could you just really quickly go through the process that happens if we approve this tonight and then the second reading, third reading, et cetera, is approved? All right, could you really quick lay out the process going forward? Because I know Councilman Loach said that he wanted to include the property owners to the south of this site. Could you just quickly go through that process so we can all be on the same page?
Yep, certainly. Lynn Tweet, Director of Development Services. We have yet to determine whether or not there will be a preliminary plat, but I would assume there is. But along with that, there would be a site plan that lays out the details of how the site will be developed. It'll lay out what the buffering will be, how we're going to achieve that screening. That goes to both of those would go to the Plan and Zoning Commission first for a recommendation, and then they'd come to the City Council for a vote. So typically, they submit it to us, we go back and forth with review comments, working with the applicant to address all of our comments, and then once it's ready, we just bring it forward for those approvals.
And with regards to that portion of the process, how involved can the current property owners to the south?
As long as we have an email address for somebody to contact, we can send them the site plan and the documents when we get them in. They can either come in and sit down with us and make their concerns known, or give us a letter back, and we will kind of pass those along and try to work through with Microsoft on those. Or generally, we are not working with Microsoft, we're working with the design consultants. But as long as we have the communication going back and forth, we will certainly pass that along and do what we can to work through that.
Sure.
So let me be really precise on what we're doing tonight. We're approving rezoning so that Microsoft can exercise their option to purchase the property on a timeline. However, the property owners who have spoken tonight will have a seat at the table as the design work gets done in the future.
Yes, this is a consistency zoning, so
Yep.
everybody keeps saying a rezoning, but it's really just applying zoning for the first time consistent with the comp plan.
Okay.
That's right.
But yes, as long as we have an email address, we have no problems including them in the conversations as we move forward with the site plans and the review of the site itself.
Thank you, Lynn. No more questions.
Okay, and Lynn, maybe if you can connect with Mrs. Reichart after, or whoever with the group that has an email communication, so we can have that going. And also, relative to the point of consistency zoning, this is enacting zoning consistent with a comprehensive plan we adopted a year ago.
Correct.
Okay. And I don't recall this area in particular standing out during that comprehensive planning process.
No, it really didn't. As was alluded to, we met with them as part of the outreach process and talked to them about their property and explained what those options were. We changed it to detached residential at their request prior to presenting the whole map to you. So it really wasn't a big discussion area at that time, no.
Okay. Okay, very good. Any other, thank you, Lynn. Did you have something, Brian?
Yeah, I was just going to point out, I do have the email and contact information for the families already in their legal counsel, and I've committed to them to keeping them in the loop on this.
Okay,
Excellent. Thank you, Ryan.
very, very good.
Come on up.
Yeah, yes, please.
So I was just going to say that we're happy to talk with the family as we move forward in the planning process. Cognizant that we don't want to get out of step with the planning staff or the board, but we're happy to entertain that conversation, even outside of what is normally required as part of this process.
One of the things that makes me really proud of being on this council is we always find a way to sort of work these things with the property owners and the companies and the developers and all that. And so I think this is just continuation of that. So
Yes.
we should move on tonight and then let the process work itself out with everybody coming to the table.
Yep. And we understand that the secrecy of projects like this create a lot of suspicion, and so part of why we're here today to reveal that it's Microsoft as this part of this project is to get rid of that and to be more transparent. There comes a point, though, in the project where you can't say anything because you don't want to promise things that can't be kept.
Yep.
And so we're at that point where we can come forward and be public, and so that's what we're doing here.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Jessica, I'm sorry, you have an item?
Just one note before you vote tonight is that, just a reminder that given the speed at which my understanding of which they would like to close, to be able to have the opportunity to waive the third reading at the December 4th City Council meeting, you do have to have a unanimous affirmative vote tonight on the first reading.
Thank you.
That was just to draw your attention to that. It was in the staff report as well.
Yep. Okay.
One more thing, and I just want to share, there is a similar situation just for the property owners to the south. I had an opportunity to speak to some neighbors along South County Line Road, which is to the south of the bypass, to the east of I-35, because, and I just spoke with them a couple days ago because I knew this was coming, and I had asked them, they have many properties that are right along the south side of South County Line Road, and I had spoke to neighbors there to ask them out because Microsoft is building facilities just to the north of County Line Road, and I asked them what their thoughts had been and how things are going, and they had responded, and I didn't speak to every single neighbor there by any means, but they thought that Microsoft had been doing a good job mitigating as much as possible during the construction. And I believe, Paul, I don't know if you're involved in that side, on the east side, but my impression is that you've been working with the city quite a bit to really make sure those buffering requirements are in line with not just what we hope for, but actually going above and beyond what we even require. That's my impression. Lynn, that would be your impression as well?
Yes.
And, okay. And that will be that opportunity to do that. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, just thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Paul, for making the trip in, for being able to share with everybody today who is involved with this project, for addressing the concerns at the outset about screening and for continuing these conversations. Mrs. Reichert, thank you also for raising these concerns. As Councilman Hudson identified, we have had similar situations in the past. I'm hopeful, like Councilman Lotz, that we will get to a point of comfort. And you know, we certainly want to have you as part of these conversations. I'm glad to hear that Ryan's got your email address, and we'll continue down the path. Okay, we have a motion, a second. No further comment. Please vote.
5 yes, an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending Title IX zoning, Chapter 4 zoning districts and maps.
I don't recall who.
Reading.
Motion to approve the first reading.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Any further discussion? Please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, thank you again, everybody. We'll move on to item 6D. Item 6D is a resolution for approval of the resolution adopting amendment number 6 to the Ashworth Corridor Urban Renewal Plan. Ryan, could you please read the date the notice was published?
November 10th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
Okay, and have we received any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, now is the time and place for a public hearing on item 6D. If you are in the audience, please come up to the podium if you give your name and address for the record. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're online, star 6 to unmute. Okay, seeing no activity here and hearing nothing online, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Again, we have a resolution for approval of the resolution.
Motion to approve, please.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on item 6D? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 6E is a motion for approval of the Valley Junction lease agreement, 217 5th Street, Suite 102, Talia Zapata with TZ Artistry. This is a motion for approval. And Ryan, could you please read the date the notice was published?
October 6th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
And we received any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, now is the time and place for a public hearing on item 6E. For those in the audience, if you could please come up to the podium, give your name and address for the record. And if there's anyone online, star 6 to unmute. Seeing nobody in council chambers and hearing nothing online, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Again, this is a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on item 6E? Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Thank you. Item 6F. 6F is a public hearing for the issuance of not to exceed $7,500,000 in general obligation capital loan notes. This is initiated by the City of West Des Moines. Ryan, could you please read the date the notice was published?
November 10th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, now's the time for folks in the audience or those online to come up to the podium to please give your name and address for the record for any comments you have on item 6F. And if you're online, it's *6 to unmute. Seeing no activity in the council chambers and not hearing anything online, we'll close the public hearing. And we've got 2 resolutions here. I think we can take all at once.
Motion to approve the resolutions.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion on item 6F? Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, we now move on to item 7. Item 7 is new business. We have 2 items under new business. Item 7A is an ordinance for approval of the first reading, a waiver of the second reading, and a waiver of the third reading for adoption in final form. This is an item for Mills Parkway, Subdistrict 9, TIF ordinance, city initiated. And is there any, I guess that covers it, any motion on
Motion
this
to
item?
consider the first reading?
Second.
Any discussion on item 7A? Okay, no discussion. We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Five yes. An ordinance amending ordinance numbers 1384, 1560, 1740, 1800, 1824, 2014, 2072, 2314, 2427, 2466, and 2558, providing that general property taxes levied and collected each year on property located within the amended Mills Parkway urban renewal area in the city of West Des Moines be paid to a special fund for payment of principal and interest on loans, monies advanced to, and indebtedness, including bonds issued or to be issued, incurred by the city in connection with the amended Mills Parkway urban renewal area.
Motion to approve the first reading?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Five yes.
Oh,
Motion to waive the second and third reading and adopt in final form?
Second.
Well, we're going to do it as 2 separate
Oh, 2
motions. So
separate.
first,
Motion to waive the second reading
second and waive second and third reading in accordance with Rule 36 of the City Council procedural rules.
in accordance with Rule 36 of the City Council procedurals. Yes, I will do that.
do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Five yes.
Given Rule 36, I will now make a motion to waive the third reading and adopt in final form.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, we'll move on to item 7B. This is University Avenue Corridor, Urban Renewal Area, West Bank Parcel TIF District, City Initiated. This is an ordinance for approval of the first reading, a waiver of the second reading, a waiver of the third reading in accordance with Procedural Rule 36, and adoption in final form.
Motion to consider the first reading.
Second.
We'll do it again.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on item 7B? Please vote.
Five yes. An ordinance providing the general property taxes levied and collected each year on certain property located within the University Avenue Corridor urban renewal area in the city of West Des Moines be paid to a special fund for payment of principal and interest on loans, monies advanced to, and indebtedness, including bonds issued or to be issued, incurred by the city in connection with the University Avenue Corridor urban renewal area.
Motion to approve the first reading.
Second.
Please vote.
Five yes.
In accordance with Rule 36, I would ask that we waive the second reading this fine evening.
Second.
Please vote.
Five yes.
And given the previous action allowed by Rule 36, I will ask that we waive the third reading and adopt in final form this evening.
Second.
Please vote.
Five yes.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
Okay, Ryan, do we have any items to receive, file, or refer?
There are no items tonight.
Okay, item 9, other matters. Does anyone on the council have any other matters they'd like to raise this evening? Okay. Well, we're adjourned.